In the vast universe, stars explode into supernovas, releasing unimaginable energy. But here on Earth, within each of us, lies a star no less radiant: the human brain. What if I told you that your brain is not a fixed machine, but a universe of possibilities, more malleable than you think, more powerful than you dare believe? What if, instead of being a prisoner of memory, habits, and aging, you could become the sculptor of your own mind? This is the promise of Deepak Chopra and Rudolph Tanzi in their groundbreaking book, Superbrain. A work that doesn't just explain the brain, but redefines it, not as a servant of biology, but as a partner in creating reality itself. Together they ask us, will you live as the baseline brain, merely reacting, surviving, echoing old patterns? Or will you awaken the superbrain, the brain that heals, learns, creates, and thrives beyond limits? In this episode, dear listener, we will walk through their vision. We will uncover how thoughts can shape biology, how mindfulness rewires neurons, and how aging need not be decline, but transformation. So, take a breath. Open your mind. For tonight, we step into the infinite and discover the explosive power of your own superbrain. 1. Baseline brain versus superbrain. Dear listener, the authors begin with a simple yet profound distinction. There are two ways to live with your brain. The first is the baseline brain. This is the brain most people accept as normal. A brain that reacts automatically. A brain ruled by habits, fear, stress, and the endless recycling of past experiences. You feel anger, and you think you are anger. You face stress, and your brain locks into survival mode. You age, and you assume decline is inevitable. This is life lived passively, where the brain is the master, and you are the servant. But Chopra and Tanzi invite us into a new model, the superbrain. Here, the relationship is reversed. You are no longer at the mercy of automatic reactions. You are the user, and the brain is the tool. You don't just experience thoughts, you shape them. You don't just endure aging, you guide it. You don't just react, you create. They give us examples. Someone living with the baseline brain may collapse under stress, believing they are helpless. Someone living with the superbrain pauses, breathes, reframes the challenge, and even transforms stress into growth. Science backs this up. Neuroplasticity shows us that the brain is constantly reshaping itself in response to how we use it. Thoughts, emotions, habits, all carve pathways. If we live unconsciously, those pathways are shallow and repetitive. If we live consciously, they become highways of resilience, creativity, and joy. And so the question for you, dear friend, is this: are you living with the baseline brain, or are you awakening the superbrain within you? 2. Mastering the mind-body connection. Chopra and Tanzi remind us of a truth both ancient wisdom and modern science confirm. The mind and body are not two separate worlds. They are one conversation. Every thought you think sends ripples through your body. Anxiety can quicken your heartbeat, tighten your chest, and cloud your memory. Joy can relax your muscles, boost immunity, and even slow aging. In the baseline brain, people believe their body is a machine that simply runs until it breaks. Stress is normal, aging means decline, disease feels like an external enemy. But in the superbrain model, you recognize that your biology listens to your beliefs, emotions, and daily choices. When you shift your perspective on stress, your hormones respond differently. When you meditate, neurons fire in harmony, calming inflammation. When you choose gratitude, your brain chemistry changes, releasing dopamine and serotonin, healing you from within. Science confirms this. The immune system, the nervous system, and even gene expression are shaped by states of mind. In fact, research shows that meditation, positive outlook, and emotional resilience can turn on protective genes and turn off harmful ones. In other words, your biology is not your destiny. Your thoughts are not fleeting shadows. They are commands whispered into every cell. So the invitation is clear. To master your mind is to master your body. 3. Neuroplasticity and the power of choice. Here lies the heart of superbrain. Your brain is not fixed. It is plastic, adaptable, and constantly rewriting itself. For centuries, people believed that brain cells were finite, like coins in a jar, and once gone, they could never return. But neuroscience shattered that myth. We now know the brain can grow new connections, rewire old patterns, and even birth new neurons throughout life. Think of it. Every choice, every repeated thought, every habit is literally carving pathways in your neural landscape. If you choose worry, the grooves of anxiety deepen. If you choose learning, curiosity, and presence, you sculpt resilience and creativity. The baseline brain accepts automatic habits, replaying the same fears, addictions, and patterns day after day. But the superbrain steps in with awareness. I can choose differently. I can shape who I am becoming. Science calls this self-directed neuroplasticity. It's like being the architect of your own brain. When you practice gratitude, you strengthen the neural circuits of optimism. When you learn a new skill, your brain lays fresh wiring for growth. When you meditate, you thicken the prefrontal cortex, the seat of wisdom, empathy, and self-control. The authors remind us, choice is the steering wheel of neuroplasticity. Every small decision is either reinforcing the old brain or creating a superbrain. So the question for each of us is simple yet profound. Which brain are you building today?
4. Emotions, healing, and inner freedom. Our emotions are not just fleeting moods, they are powerful biological events that shape the health of our brain and body. Deepak Chopra and Rudolph Tanzi argue that the superbrain is not about suppressing emotions, but about mastering their flow and transforming them into sources of healing. Think about anger, fear, or sadness. In the baseline brain, these emotions hijack your nervous system, flooding you with stress hormones, clouding judgment and chaining you to past wounds. But the superbrain steps in with awareness. Emotions are signals, not prisons. Science shows us. Chronic stress shrinks the hippocampus, the center of memory. Prolonged anger damages the heart. But cultivating calm, forgiveness, and compassion rewires the brain for resilience and even strengthens immunity. Here's the secret. Emotions are energy, and energy can be redirected. When grief becomes empathy, when fear transforms into courage, when anger evolves into clarity, the brain doesn't just heal, it grows stronger. The authors call this emotional freedom, the ability to feel deeply without being enslaved by what you feel. This freedom allows you to respond rather than react, to shape your inner state regardless of outer chaos. So, the superbrain does not reject emotions. It embraces, interprets, and transcends them, turning raw feelings into wisdom. 5. The superbrain and lifelong growth. One of the most powerful messages in superbrain is this: aging is not decline, it's evolution. The baseline brain tends to believe in limits. I'm too old to learn. My memory isn't what it used to be. The brain inevitably declines. But science tells a different story. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and grow, continues throughout life. Think of it this way. Every new skill you learn, every new language you practice, every new experience you embrace, it's like planting seeds in the garden of your mind. Even in the later decades of life, those seeds sprout, forming new neural pathways and strengthening old ones. Deepak Chopra and Rudolph Tanzi stress that the superbrain is a lifelong project. It thrives on curiosity, playfulness, and challenge. Whether you're 20 or 80, the moment you decide to stretch your mind, your brain responds with growth. Studies prove this. Older adults who learn musical instruments or a new language increase cognitive resilience. Social engagement and purpose in later life protect against dementia. Meditation, mindfulness, and exercise all preserve memory and mental agility. The key is this: don't let your brain retire before you do. Keep it dancing, exploring, creating. The superbrain is like a flame. It will keep burning brightly as long as you feed it with the fuel of lifelong growth. 6. Consciousness and the superbrain. At the heart of superbrain lies a daring idea. Your brain is not just an organ, it is a portal to consciousness. The baseline brain views consciousness as nothing more than electrical activity. Neurons firing, chemistry mixing, a byproduct of biology. But Chopra and Tanzi argue that the superbrain doesn't just process consciousness, it participates in it. Pause for a moment and consider. When you close your eyes and reflect on your own thoughts, who is the you that is watching? That silent witness, that inner observer? Is that not consciousness itself? The superbrain thrives when you acknowledge this deeper dimension. Meditation, self-reflection, prayer, and mindfulness are not just relaxation techniques. They are ways of aligning the brain with a broader field of awareness, what Chopra often calls
pure consciousness. Scientific studies support this bridge. Meditation has been shown to thicken the prefrontal cortex, improving focus and decision-making. Mindfulness alters brainwave patterns, leading to states of calm and clarity. Long-term meditators even show changes in brain structure, evidence that consciousness practices reshape the brain itself. The message here is profound. The brain is not just a machine, it's a doorway. The more we tune into consciousness, the more we awaken the superbrain's highest potential: creativity, compassion, wisdom, and insight. So the question for you, dear listener, is this: are you willing to look beyond the mechanical brain and step into the vastness of your own awareness? 7. Practical tools for living with your superbrain. Dear listener, we've journeyed through the realms of the brain, from biology to creativity, from memory to consciousness. But now comes the most vital part: how to live this knowledge every day. Chopra and Tanzi remind us that the superbrain is not built in a lab, nor discovered in a rare moment of inspiration. It's cultivated through simple, deliberate practices, repeated consistently. Here are some of the tools they offer. 1. Mindful breathing and meditation. Spend just 10 minutes each day sitting in stillness, observing your breath. This anchors you to the present, reduces stress hormones, and opens space for creativity and insight. 2. Challenge your mind daily. Don't let your brain fall into routine. Learn a new skill, a language, or even a dance step. Novelty stimulates neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to rewire and grow. 3. Embrace positive relationships. The brain thrives in connection. Surround yourself with people who uplift and challenge you. Emotional support strengthens mental resilience and even boosts immunity. 4. Eat, sleep, and move for the brain. Nourish your mind with omega-rich foods, hydrate, prioritize deep sleep, and engage in regular physical activity. Remember, a healthy body is the soil in which a superbrain grows. 5. Practice gratitude and self-compassion. Gratitude reshapes neural pathways toward optimism. Self-compassion shields against the inner critic that keeps the baseline brain stuck in limitation. 6. Reflect daily. Before bed, pause and ask yourself, what did I learn today? What challenged me? What inspired me? This practice reinforces memory and integrates wisdom into your being. Together, these tools form a lifestyle. Not a quick fix, but a steady path. A way of living where the brain doesn't just keep you alive, but helps you truly live. And perhaps the greatest takeaway is this: you are not your brain's prisoner. You are its master, sculptor, and companion. By living with awareness and intention, you awaken the superbrain, and with it, the extraordinary human potential within you. Dear listener, we have traveled through the vast landscape of the mind, guided by Deepak Chopra and Rudolph Tanzi. We've seen the baseline brain, reactive, limited, trapped in habits and fear. And we've glimpsed the superbrain, adaptable, creative, conscious, and alive with possibility. We discovered how thoughts shape biology, how emotions can heal or harm, and how neuroplasticity gives us the power to choose who we become. We explored the mind-body connection, the role of consciousness, and the practical tools that turn knowledge into daily transformation. And here is the most important truth: the brain is not just an organ. It is a partner, a canvas, a doorway. Every moment you breathe mindfully, learn something new, connect with others, or cultivate compassion, you are unleashing the explosive power of your mind. You are stepping into your superbrain. So, dear friend, remember this: a brain left to its old patterns may limit your life, but a brain nurtured with awareness, curiosity, and intention can unlock worlds you never imagined. If this episode touched your heart or sparked your curiosity, share it with someone who might benefit. Stay with us on this journey of knowledge and wisdom here at Guide to Reads, where every book becomes a doorway to a brighter, sharper, and more conscious life. Until next time, keep learning, keep reflecting, and keep awakening your superbrain.